One winter morning, I got word that my dear neighbor, 78-year-old Jean, had been rushed to the hospital. She was normally healthy, taking a walk every single afternoon. But because of one small habit everyone thought was harmless, she nearly did not survive. Her doctor said if she'd been 30 minutes later, her heart might have stopped. Do you know what happened? Jean had simply not eaten a proper breakfast and taken her blood pressure medication with a fruit juice considered healthy. What startled me was this. So many older adults are doing the exact same thing every day, completely unaware they are pushing themselves to a dangerous edge. At this age, you may have experienced many losses, seen friends and relatives pass away from things that could have been prevented. And if you are concerned about your own health, or that of your parents or older loved ones, then this video is for you. Together, we will look back at the most important health lessons, from diet and rest to common mistakes made by seniors. This is not just information, it is real-world experience to help you live healthier, more peaceful days. Please watch until the end, because the final lesson about letting go might be what you need most right now. And if you would like to continue this journey with me through real stories that help us live deeper, healthier lives, do not forget to subscribe. Now let us begin. Lesson 1. Health is your most valuable possession. There is a familiar saying we have often heard since childhood. If you have your health, you have everything. But it is not until you are older, when you wake up each morning feeling a new ache in some joint, that you truly understand its value. I once spoke with Paul, an 82-year-old Navy veteran who lives on the Florida coast. He told me, I used to own 3 cars, 2 houses, and a decent savings account. But after my minor stroke at 76, I understood. None of that could save me from needing someone else to help me use the bathroom. His words left me speechless. It was not just a reminder, but a wake-up call for all of us. When you are young, you can work late, eat poorly, and overuse painkillers whenever you feel tired. But your body is not an unbreakable machine. Every meal you skip, every time you say, I do not have time to exercise, you are taking on a debt against your health. And at some point it will collect, in a very cruel way. Many older adults still think, I am old now. What is the point of taking care of myself? But that is not true. On the contrary, the less health you have, the more precious every small improvement becomes. A walk around the neighborhood, a meal with green vegetables, a full night of sleep, all those seemingly small things are the foundation that helps you live another 5 to 10 years. Not just to survive, but to truly live. You might not need to live an exceptionally long life, but what could be better than if every year, every day of your later life is a day you can still walk freely, still make yourself a cup of tea, and open the door to greet the morning sun. So if today you can still stand up unassisted, can still trim your own nails, get in a car, go to the kitchen, please do not take it for granted. It is a privilege. And that privilege, you must protect it like a treasure. Because you can redo almost anything in life, except for regaining the health you have lost. Lesson 2, happiness is knowing what is enough. Have you ever looked around your home and wondered, how many things in here once made me happy, but now just sit there, collecting dust? How many things did you once desperately want, but once you had them, the joy faded very quickly? At this age, we are no longer lacking like we were in our youth. But for that very reason, we sometimes feel even more empty inside. Many people think having a little more money, another trip, or a new item will make them happier. But in reality, what brings you the most peace is not found in external things, but in knowing how much is enough. I once met Linda, 79 years old, living in a small apartment in California. Every morning she brews her own coffee, turns on the radio to classical music, and tends to a small garden on her balcony. She said, I do not have much money, but I am not worried. I do not have a fancy car, but I have strong legs to walk to the market each week. I do not have many clothes, but I love every piece I own. Her way of life made me understand. Happiness is not about having everything, but about knowing you already have enough. Our generation grew up amid hardships, material scarcity, war, constant struggle. This formed a belief. Only when you have a lot can you feel secure. But now, after all that has passed, do you still need to keep striving? Or is it time to let go a little, and live more freely? Knowing what is enough does not mean giving up on your dreams. It just means you stop letting yourself get caught in a race with no finish line. It is when you sit at a simple dinner table, see the look in your partner's eyes, or hear your grandchild's laughter and feel your heart warm up. It is when you open your closet, not seeing much but seeing just enough, and not having to search for anything more. When you know what is enough, you stop comparing. You no longer feel inferior. You no longer feel a sense of lack every time you look at others. You will feel light, free, and that is what true happiness really is. Happiness does not come from what you are chasing. It is right there in what you already have, if you are still enough to notice. Lesson 3, time flies, so cherish every moment. There's a strange thing that happens as we get older. Time seems to pass more quickly. It feels like just yesterday you were taking your child to school, and now you are sitting here watching your grandchild learn to walk on the rug. Just yesterday you and your partner were furnishing your first home, and now you are left with a chair by the window and a quiet space. Time is the one thing we cannot hold on to, cannot turn back, and cannot buy more of. But sadly, for most of our lives, we have lived as if it would last forever. We postpone a call to a loved one. We miss a family dinner. We put off a trip with an old friend. Then one day we realize time waits for no one, and second chances do not come. I once visited George, an 84-year-old man living alone in Vermont. He has a habit of writing in a journal each morning, noting 3 things he was grateful for from the day before. When I asked why, he just said softly, "Because I used to pay no attention to anything." It was not until my wife passed after a sudden illness that I realized I had never been truly present with her. Since then, each day of his life has become a chance to be grateful, even for just the sound of a bird or a warm cup of tea. We cannot slow down time, but we can live more deeply in each moment. It is when you hear your grandchild laugh and you put down your phone to really look at that little face. It is when you are eating a meal and you let go of worries about yesterday or tomorrow to enjoy the present. It is when you do not just say, "I love you," but actually spend time with the people you cherish. Each day that passes is a page that cannot be rewritten. And what makes life worthwhile is not how long you live, but how you lived during those years. Being present, feeling, loving. My friend, if you woke up today, are still breathing, can still hear the wind and see the light, that is a gift. Do not let it pass by as something ordinary, because there will come a day when you can no longer count the time, but only wish you could return to a single moment. If you are still watching and finding these thoughts helpful, please comment with the number 3 below to let me know. And if you are not yet subscribed, I encourage you to hit follow and turn on notifications so you will not miss new videos. Your support helps us continue creating more helpful and inspiring content. Lesson 4, family is always a strong foundation. At an age where you have been through enough cycles of success and failure, of loss and gain, you would probably agree with me on one thing. After everything, family is the only thing that always remains. Success once made you soar, money once kept you busy, friends once made you laugh until you cried. But those same things can leave you one day, when you no longer have status, when you fall ill, or simply when you are no longer useful to them. Family is not like that. Even with conflicts, misunderstandings, and periods of distance, it is still the only place with an open door when you want to return. I once met Mr. and Mrs. Thomas, both over 80, living in a small town in Michigan. They have 4 children, each living far away. One time, Mr. Thomas fell and was hospitalized, and his wife never left his side. Every evening, she would sit by his bed, hold his hand, and whisper old memories. He told me, "I used to travel far to earn money, thinking what I did was for my family. But only when I got sick did I understand. Family does not need a lot of money, they just need you to be truly present." Many of us have put our careers before our families. We postponed a visit to our mother to make a meeting. We chose to work overtime instead of having dinner with our children. Then one day, When the house is quiet, when an empty chair stays empty, we realize there are moments that, once missed, can never be recovered. Family is not always peaceful. There may have been hurtful words, unresolved misunderstandings. But believe that familial love, when nurtured with sincerity, will mend everything. Because love in a family does not need to be fancy or perfect. It just needs to be real. If today you can still call your children, send a text to check on a sibling, or simply sit down for a meal with a loved one, please do it. Because tomorrow you might not have the chance. Life can shake you, but family is always the shelter for your soul. There, you do not need to be successful to be loved. You just need to be yourself. Lesson 5. Forgiveness brings peace to the heart. Some wounds are not on the skin, but lie very deep within the heart. A remark from a relative years ago, a mistake that cannot be undone, or a departure without a chance to say goodbye. Those memories, if not healed, will quietly follow you for the rest of your life. Many people think forgiveness is about freeing the other person, but the truth is, forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. I once heard the story of Michael, 81 years old, living in Texas. For 20 years, he did not speak to his only son after a bitter argument. They avoided each other at holidays and were absent from each other's major life events. But then one afternoon, when he fell ill and was in the hospital, the first person to walk in was his son, with red eyes, silently taking his father's hand. Michael recalled, "In that moment, I could not remember what I had been angry about. I just knew there was not much time left, and I did not want to leave with a heavy heart." Forgiveness does not mean forgetting, nor does it mean condoning the mistake. Forgiveness is when you choose to set down the burden you have carried for too long, to allow your heart to rest. It is when you no longer let anger gnaw away at you through sleepless nights, or let regret torment you during lonely afternoons. Perhaps you have been betrayed, hurt, or treated unfairly. That pain is real, and no one has the right to tell you to just forget it. But you do not have to imprison yourself in it forever. You deserve to be at peace. When you forgive, the air around you lightens, your smile returns, your sleep deepens, and relationships that seem dead sometimes get a chance to be reborn more authentically. If today there is still someone in your heart who causes you pain, a memory that chokes you up, a comment that makes it hard to breathe whenever you remember, I hope you give yourself a chance, not to forget, but to let go. Forgiveness is a choice, and when you make that choice, you are opening the door to the deepest peace within your soul. My dear friend, we have just walked through 5 lessons that seem simple, but have the power to profoundly move and change how we live the rest of our lives. That health is not a given, but is the most precious treasure. That happiness is not found in accumulation, but in knowing what is enough and feeling whole. That time waits for no one, and every moment you are living is an irreplaceable gift. That family amount, though not perfect, is still the only place you can lean on when you are tired. And that forgiveness does not make you weak. It is how you become stronger and lighter of heart than ever before. You may have known these things before, but knowing is one thing. Living by it is another choice, and it is never too late to begin. Whether you are 60, 70, or old, whether your past holds much pain or regret, today you can still choose again. Choose to care for your health. Choose to cherish the present. Choose to love your family more. Choose to let go of what is past to live with a peaceful and gentle spirit. I believe that you can. It does not require massive changes, just a little bit each day. A healthy meal, a call to the grandkids, a hug given freely, a sigh replaced with a smile. Those small things done consistently will gradually warm your heart again. And if today just one part of this video has made you feel a little lighter, feel comforted, or given you more motivation to be kind to yourself, then that is the most wonderful thing of all. Feel free to share what you learned today in the comments. Who knows, your story might help someone else, someone also struggling to find peace in their soul. If you found this video meaningful, please like, subscribe, and share so we can spread more beauty and kindness together. Thank you for spending your time here until the very end. I wish you a truly peaceful soul and a beautiful, worthy, and well-lived old age. See you in the next video.